So, you're thinking about buying or refinancing a home in Woodbury, New Jersey? Awesome. But you're probably wondering about one of those key upfront costs, the appraisal. Well, in the next couple of minutes, we're going to break down the exact costs for 2026 so you know exactly what to budget. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. For a standard home in Woodbury, you should plan on spending somewhere between $600 and $775 for an appraisal in 2026. That's the typical range for most people. But, have you ever wondered where those numbers actually come from and why that specific range?
To really understand the cost, we've got to look at the source. It turns out there's actually an official fee schedule that kind of sets the benchmark for the whole local market, and it gives us a fantastic foundation for these numbers.
And that source is the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, or the VA. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, I'm not getting a VA loan, so why should I care? Well, here's the interesting thing. The VA's fee schedule has pretty much become the go-to reference point for most appraisers and lenders in the area, even for totally conventional loans.
You see, the VA fee schedule sets the maximum fee an appraiser can charge for a VA loan appraisal in New Jersey. And what that does is it basically creates a really reliable and competitive baseline for the entire Woodbury market. It's like the official guidepost that helps keep prices consistent and fair for everyone.
So, that $600 to $775 range isn't just random. The single biggest factor that decides where your property lands on that spectrum is its type. I mean, a simple condo is appraised very differently than, say, a 4-unit building, and the price definitely reflects that extra work.
All right, here's the breakdown. A standard single-family home or a condo in Woodbury, that's typically going to run you about $600. A manufactured home, which, has its own unique things to consider, comes in just a little higher at $650. And then, for an investment property like a duplex or a fourplex, the cost jumps up to $775, just because of all the extra work involved. And this really shows you why there's that price gap. A single-family home is, the baseline. But with a multifamily property, the appraiser has to do way more than just value the building. They've got to analyze income potential, research what similar units are renting for, and assess each unit on its own. All that extra work is what you're seeing in that higher fee.
Okay, so we've pretty much covered the how much. But what about the other big questions, like how long does this all take? And maybe more importantly, are there any times where it could cost even more? Let's dig into those practical details.
So the standard turnaround time that the VA sets for New Jersey is 10 business days. Now, in the real world, once you factor in scheduling the actual visit and the whole review process, this usually means you'll get your appraisal report back in about 2 weeks from the day it's ordered.
This is a really important question. While those VA schedule fees cover most homes in Woodbury, there are for sure exceptions. So when should you start bracing for a quote that might be a little higher than the numbers we've been talking about?
So, when might you see a higher quote? Well, it usually comes down to complexity. If you've got a really unique luxury home with very few comparable sales, or a house with huge renovations, or maybe some unpermitted additions that need to be verified, expect the cost to be higher. Same goes for mixed-use properties, or, if you just need the report done in a major hurry.
Okay, let's bring all this together. We've looked at the source, we've gone through the property types, and we've talked about the exceptions. So now, let's boil this all down into a simple, actionable budget guide you can use for your financial planning in Woodbury. Here it is. For the vast majority of you, the number you need to remember is one of these three. If you have a standard house or a condo, budget $600. If it's a manufactured home, plan for $650. And if you're buying a small multi-family investment property, your number is $775. Simple as that.
Look, understanding the appraisal cost is a huge step in getting a handle on your home buying budget. It just replaces all that uncertainty with confidence. Now that you've got this key piece of the puzzle solved, the real question is, are you ready for what comes next in your property journey?